All right. We have another episode of BILLINICO commentary. And today we have Jermaine Dupri. He sat down with the Joe Budden podcast and gave the business game, kind of business game that most people in hip hop and unfortunately the Black community will ignore. He gave some advice that's not really complicated because it requires one thing that most people ignore: accountability. People ignore accountability. So today I'm going to be breaking down why independence isn't always power. Yes, independence is not always power. And why bad deals aren't always this, a trap or something that they schemed up to lay out, to take advantage of you. And, the real reason why so many people stay broke, and they stay broke because of their mindset and the lack of understanding. And Jermaine Dupri, he displays, a certain mentality that he has, a mindset, coming from a position of power and order and knowledge. They say knowledge is power for a reason, because when you know better, you do better. When you have the information, you're able to move differently. So let's see. Let's play a little bit of what he says, and then we'll get into it.
What we doing? This what we doing. This what.
Let me go back a little further.
Amazing. Like,
we believe you.
I'm just saying, for the most part, if you were you and you got something that people want, 9 times out of 10, the people that push that paper across the table, it's not the deal that you actually want, right?
So if you have a product or a service, right, or talent or skill set that is desired, that people want, they're going to do what's in the best interest of them. That should be common sense. Now, if you come from a desperate situation, you come from a situation where people around you don't think critically, they don't think a step ahead, 2 steps ahead, then you're someone that has to realize you're going to be more impulsive. You're going to base your situations off of emotion and not logic. Because yes, you may be talented, you can rap, you can sing, you can dribble the ball. Maybe even you offer a different type of business skill set. The people that are, sending the first offer, it's in their favor almost even more than you even consider. That doesn't mean that you can't renegotiate whatever their offer is, because clearly there's something on the line that they want or they're considering, right? So you take that into account, and then you renegotiate based on what's in your favor. And then usually you have a middle ground, or maybe you'll get everything you want because what you offer is just that valuable. But you have people that offer something that's really, really valuable, and they just sign whatever deal is placed in front of them. And then they make excuses and say it's the label's fault, when it's not the label's fault. It's your fault for not getting a proper lawyer or attorney, not doing your due diligence, taking your time, reading the details, reading all the clauses, just being patient. And it's okay if you make a mistake when you were younger, it's okay. But it has to come to a certain age when you realize what occurred, why it occurred, and how it occurred. Joe Budden and Mark Lamont Hill, they basically are feeding that victim mentality, that victim mindset. Jermaine Dupri is telling them straight out what worked, why it worked, how it worked, because he's living proof of that. And he's going to mention a few things why, and their reactions, they're startling. Not because they may not be true, unfortunately, but it's just, they're going to answer why most people in the hip hop community or the Black community don't have this mindset. So let's play some more of the video.
So that's why the word renegotiation or negotiate is there. That's what we supposed to do. You supposed to look at it. Nah. Red line, red line, red line, red line, red line, red line.
Slow down.
Send that shit back.
It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's not complicated. You either take the deal because it's something that you can work with or it favors you, or you cannot take the deal because the people that are pushing the paper, they're only going to take the deal because it favors them or it can service them, or they're not going to take the deal. It's that simple. And then you move on to the next one. And depending on the market or the business you're in, you're going to have multiple chances to find a client or clients, right? So let's get deep. Whatever market you want to enter or whatever industry you want to enter, you want to know what it takes for you to deliver your service, whatever your deliverables are, right? And you have to know who are the players in that market, or who are your customers or your clients and competitors. What are they charging? What are you willing to charge? What are you willing to do? How much time are you willing to put into the service? Is this an investment? Are you burning money every month? These are some things you have to consider. Now, when you want to offer them the deal, or when they offer you the deal, you have to set the terms. But you have to also know what other people are taking in the market. Now, what you offer might be more valuable. It might give them a better return on whatever they're getting. Let's say you brought to the table was complete, was refined to an extent, and he just went to the major players and said, "Hey, let's work together. Let's do a good deal. You guys are going to get a return on your money. I already did a lot of the legwork. I have a lot of the skill sets, and not only that, I can manage a lot of things going forward because I can produce, I can write." And that doesn't mean they're not going to work with the big boy producers. And he's a big boy producer now, but before he was, that doesn't mean he wasn't working with the other big boy producers and writers and stuff like that. But because he came from a position of power, his deals were just a lot better than the average person. Because he was accountable for everything that was going on pretty much. So when you have someone like Joe Budden, who just didn't have the information, listen, pump it up to this day. Joe Budden said, it's easy for Jermaine Dupri to say this because he had Jump. You had Pump It Up. Pump It Up to this day is still played in so many sporting arenas. That song, because of the energy, because of the type of song, that song is clearly an asset. That it's just lasted so long, decades. Now, how could you said from the beginning, hey, I made Pump It Up. I'm a writer. I'm one of the hottest rappers coming out of the game. I got multiple labels. Like, you use whatever leverage you have, and then you get the best terms. So whatever his terms were, let's say his terms were cut in half, whatever he agreed to. Anything could have been dealt with. But he's saying that, the label, they gave me a lawyer, and then you don't have to take the label's lawyer, bro. Stop making excuses. Stop being a victim.
I don't know. I learned this at a very young age, so I don't know. Like, even when niggas talk about me, that's what I'm saying. When we go back to what we talking about, I don't think niggas understand. Like, my deal was amazing. Like,
we believe you.
I'm talking about amazing. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted to. I could sign whoever the fuck I wanted to. I could put the music out when I wanted to. My deal was crazy.
Because that's what you negotiated.
Yeah.
No, because he made Jump.
But you made Pump It Up. Pump It Up did. Peaked at number 38 on the Billboard Hot 100. Stronger on Hot Rap Tracks, number 10 in club charts. Not platinum as a single, but heavily featured. Became a club anthem and hip-hop hype track. Featured in movies Too Fast, Too Furious, in video games Madden, Def Jam. Submitted Budden as a respected lyricist, but he didn't break mainstream long term. Still spun in throwback sets, memes, and sports party playlists, overshadowed by Budden's later career as a podcaster and media personality. Pump It Up is a classic club record, but not a chart-dominating smash like Jump. All right. Number 1, number 30, 38. Okay. But would either artist have leverage in their first major deal? Let's see. We're doing I'm gonna edit some of this stuff out. So Kross. So because Jermaine Dupri they were minors at the time. Dupri was the engine behind their success. He did the production, the image, and the marketing. So yeah, let's see. Joe Budden got the standard deal. Major label, low royalty percentage. Label recoups first, heavy reliance on A&R. Yeesh. So street, but no mainstream proof yet. Def Jam had all the leverage until Pump It Up caught on. So he didn't have any leverage going into the deal before Pump It Up. So he should have worked on trying to make some kind of. He should have made smashes like you need it at the because I'm not in the music industry, so I'm just trying to put myself in the artist. So let me look at this. So basically, what Jermaine Dupri did. So no, Joe Budden's still kind of making because what Jermaine Dupri did was he started his label. He had his label. Joe Budden could have had a label. You could have started a label tomorrow called LLC Records, right? So with your label, that don't mean you can't still operate with the other companies, right? You can sign with other companies under your label now and not just you. So that's Joe Budden's first mistake. He wasn't an entity of his own with his own lawyer in accounting. All right. And this is just business, unfortunately, I get it. The communities that a lot of these talented artists are coming from don't even have any business sense. They're just signing to them as people, as individuals. But I see what Jermaine Dupri did. He had So Def. Once he had the hit, which he crafted the whole style. Okay, it's a kid-friendly single. Yeah, genius. Yeah, okay. But he still controlled it. But they wanted a piece of that action because what he did worked. His whole idea worked. Wow. All right, so Joe. Yeah, mixtape buzz, but you need more than your mixtape buzz. Got to be crazy. Like 50 Cent in the 2000s had a mixtape buzz, and his mixtape buzz was so crazy. It was like he was putting out music, on a label, kind of. Then I'm pretty sure he signed his G Unit record label, or they gave him G Unit record label. At some point, he had his own label. So that's the position of power, that boss mentality. I don't know how 50 got that information, or, maybe it's good that he wasn't signed earlier on because he came in the game after things happened with his own record label. And then once you have your own entity, it just gives you a lot more power. You're making more money. You got more control. You got more deals usually because there's a creative aspect that Joe Budden was missing. And I get it. He just wanted to rap. But imagine a mood music label that he had a subsidy of Def Jam, where he said, yo, I got this idea for mood music. And the thing is, dude was very, creative with the type of music he wanted to create, but he's going to them like this individual, hey guys, I want to make this type of music because I feel this type of way as an artist, which I get, but you should have had that as your own thing. You should have been your own label and said, yo, I'm going to blow up making the radio hit y'all want. And then this is my creative lane. I want to make reflective music or music based on reflection, deeper thought. Right. So once he did that, they would have to be like, if it's a whole entity, a whole project with him, different artists, different albums that he pushes, that he puts a little bit of money in, right? And then he gets a deal off that. That's how you got to look at it. And I think he just approached it just from an artist. There was a disconnect with what they wanted delivered and what he was willing to deliver. And he should have known what the terms are, what they wanted him to deliver before he even, got into that deal. We can't always make excuses.
Exactly.
I may jump, but I'm saying I may jump, but I went and we got the right lawyers, and the right lawyers had conversation with me and my dad, and we started talking about
he had a dad.
That sounds crazy that they're saying that. He had a dad. Like, that's some rare thing. You got a bunch of black men in a room saying, yo, he had a dad. You got to be kidding me, man. What's going on? What is going on? The fact that they said that, oh, man, whatever.
Yeah, 90% of niggas don't.
90% of niggas, what?
Pops worked in music, right? But I'm saying, my dad was my manager, like in my earlier days. Niggas be having managers.
Yeah, but
your dad
was an exec.
Nigga, manager be the nigga in 5B.
Niggas don't got managers.
Was your dad in the music business?
But it's not that funny, though. It's not that wild. Like, there's a way you do things. You can approach anything the right way. Just because you didn't approach something the right way, literally, he's telling you what it is. And it's so funny, like, yo, this dude, but it's, bruh, it's simple. You got a manager now, don't you? You're doing business right now, and you got a manager, don't you? And your business is going a lot better. You got lawyers, you got a manager, you got accountants, because you're approaching things the way you should have approached it from the beginning. If you approached it the way you should have approached it in the beginning, your music career possibly could have went a different route. And that's a fact. And there's no one to blame but yourself and your family. You can't say someone brought you to an office and you didn't know what you were signing. Like, bro, that's on you and your parents. Because they raised you. They gave you the game and the information that got you to that point. Like, that's what people are missing. LL Cool J also came up here and said the same thing. Yo, there's just a lack of masculinity and confidence and accountability in this world right now. People like Mark Lamont Hill, who comes up here with this liberal mindset, which is crazy because he appeals to a lot of these people in the audience of the Joe Budden podcast. You read their comments, they love the stuff that Mark Lamont Hill says. And to me, this guy, the majority of the thing he says make no sense in practical terms. They just don't make sense in the real world. He's going to flip it. If he heard this, he probably would flip it and say, oh yeah, you think so? And let me guess. You agree with the oppressions of the elite class and we should give our money to funds and like, bruh. Do you know anything that makes sense in the terms of practicality that these young men can actually use in the real world to be successful and productive citizens of the country? Instead of paranoid, rebellious, victim, disruptive, annoying beta males. And I don't even mean beta males. I mean the one under them. I don't mean beta, like second in charge. I just mean like just weak, complaining. It's annoying, bro. It's annoying. Excuse my language.
That's music business.
Okay.
No, my dad was in the music business as far as like a roadie for SOS Band, Brick.
Parks just said your dad was an exec. His dad was a roadie. And even if his dad was in the music industry, from an exec to a housekeeper, if his father had a masculine mentality, his father would have learned as much as he could from being around whatever he was around and giving it to his son. So his son has an advantage when his son is next up. And that's a fact. You give your children, especially the son, the game on how he needs to move forward. And Jermaine Dupri, I don't know what, the fact that he had his father in his life, and this is what I keep saying. A lot of these people that have single mothers, they didn't work that hard. They wasn't doing that much. I keep trying to tell people act like these well-to-do off kids, these wealthy kids, or kids that actually had decent parents that made sure that they were in activities or that they were in private school. they had way busier schedules because they were doing things. They were learning something. They was practicing something. They were doing events. They in organizations. They learn how to be busy the way people are in college and working in their teenage years. Jermaine Dupri is an example of that. This dude produced, wrote, and created the concept for, peers or younger peers and marketed it to the world. And we have the internet today. Thank God that there are people that are just so creative when they're bored, which is a gift and a curse. There's people that are so creative, they're making things and they blow up. But they're not even ready for when they blow up because they don't have the mentality that they need to keep, what they're going to get, which is that king mentality, that queen mentality. Or if you're a princess, you need a king that's going to guide you. If you're a prince, you need a king that's going to guide you. Who's the king? Your father. Your father, because your father has your best interests at heart. Same way to deal, your father already has to deal with you. You're his seed. You're his legacy. And a good father wants his legacy to do better than he did. A good father almost knows you're going to do better. But he has to do what needs to be done in order to make sure that you execute on that.
And Peebo Bryson, an artist that was in Atlanta, he was doing roadie work, like hooking up shit. The music business, record company business, neither one of us knew what we was doing, right? Okay. But
so there goes that. Neither one of them knew what they was doing, but his father knew something. He knew something because he was around that and he wanted his son to pursue it for a reason. Maybe he couldn't articulate it. Maybe he didn't understand the business structure formally, but he understood there was money there was opportunity, and he connected the dots with his son and what the music industry was doing. Whatever his son was displaying, whatever skill sets or interest or talent his son displayed, he connected it to the market and the business of what he was doing and said, this is a match made in heaven.
I knew after I gave, since Kross wasn't signed to So Def, so I guess I got basically a complete education learning lesson.
There you go.
In order going to somebody saying, Jermaine, here goes So Def, right? So when I gave Kross to Rough House Records.
So look, he had a situation that did not benefit him completely. He broke the artist, but I guess he did not have them signed to him. But he did display that he could do something of that magnitude. So he was in the position in the business to do it again. And then the next time, dictate better terms to, whatever he's offering. I was sitting there and I'd be in my room and they'll be sending messages and I'll tell the company everything to do. This what we doing, this what we doing, this what we doing, this what I see need to happen. And I realized and I said, I'm telling these niggas everything to do.
Marketing plan was
running
me.
the label.
And they doing it. And they look like they
what I need them for.
Right. So when Sony approached me and said, we want to give you a label deal, my mentality was, all right, I'm doing all of this. Y'all niggas can't tell me I'm doing exactly what I did with this group. This how we going in. If y'all. So it's your leverage. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you bringing to the table? What is the value? And listen, if you are doing work that they're not going to do, then it's a win for you in terms of, contract negotiations. You have more leverage, But we're going to play a little bit more. Actually, no, we're going to end it right here and then we might do a part 2. So, peace.